This video will show you how to replace the front sway bar link on a GMC Sierra 2500. You'll have one of these on each side of the vehicle. The process will be the same. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we have to do is safely raise and support the front end of the vehicle so the wheel's off the ground. Once you've done that, if you have a hubcap, we're going to remove that. That can be done using a 22mm socket. After that, we'll remove all 8 of our 22mm lug nuts as well, so we can remove the wheel. With the wheel out of the way, as we start looking inboard, this is where we can see our front sway bar link. You're going to be using a 15mm along the top, where the mounting nut is, and along the bottom. As you look down along the bottom, you can see the head of the sway bar link. This is actually a very long bolt that makes its way up through the outer sheathing here, all the way up towards the top. Let's hold the upper mounting nut and turn the lower portion, unscrewing this. 15mm both sides. Start removing our hardware from on the top. You're going to find you have a mounting nut, a concave washer, and a rubber bushing. You may also find that the sway bar link won't come apart past here, and that's typically due to either it being at an angle or due to rust. In my case, it's due to the fact that the sway bar is actually at an angle and it's kind of holding it in position. So I'll just start tapping this down and out of here. As you start bringing it down, you're going to find that you can eventually pivot it. We want to pivot it to a point that we can remove our bushing, the next concave washer, and this sleeve. Under that, we have another washer and another bushing. There's one of our bushings. The washer came off of there, so that's good. Next washer and bushing, and then remove the rest of it. And there it is, friend. Prior to installation of any brand new part, of course, we want to make sure we clean and inspect our mounting areas. I'm starting up along the top at the sway bar. We want to make sure that it's not rotted or damaged in any way. Just going to use a wire brush. This seems good. For the control arm, you can see down along the bottom, same thing up along the top. Okay friend, it's time for installation of the front sway bar link. For the sway bar link, we have the smooth shafted bolt here. We have our concave washer, and then we have our first bushing. We want to pay attention to each one of the bushings as we continue on. You're going to find one side of each one of the bushings has a small circular tab along the center. That needs to be facing towards the control arm. On the other side, it's time for the next bushing. At this point, we have that circular tab. It's going to be facing towards the control arm, but it's facing down. On the other side of that bushing, another concave washer. And now we have the outer sheathing. Along the top of that, concave washer, and another bushing. Now for this bushing, we need to have that tab facing up because we're heading towards our sway bar. As you bring this over, you're going to find that you have to carefully adjust that sway bar. You may have to bring it up a little bit, and if you need to do so, you could use a pry bar. We've got our pry bar. The upper bushing, we have the tab facing down towards that sway bar. Now up along the top, we would continue on with one of our concave washers and the mounting nut. But as you can tell, we can't see any threading at this point. We're going to have to apply pressure underneath the lower portion of the sway bar link. Gently compressing our sway bar link bushing, that should give us enough slack in this area. Concave washer. That mounting nut on there. Let's release pressure from this. To continue on tightening this, we're going to be using a 14 millimeter for each piece of hardware. A quick note about tightening your sway bar link: you only want to tighten it enough that each one of the bushings is touching up against its mounting point, whether it's the sway bar itself or the control arm. If you over tighten this, you're going to find you start crushing the bushings and you're going to cause premature wear. Just make this a little bit tighter here. There we are. Double check all 4 of the bushings. Now one last quick inspection in this area and we can reinstall our wheel. Now it's time to reinstall that wheel. Once you have the wheel in place, start on all 8 of your 22 millimeter lug nuts. We're going to lightly bottom them out. We'll get the wheel safely back down on the ground and then torque each of them to 140 foot-pounds. Now I've got the wheel back on the ground. Let's go ahead and torque each of these lug nuts to 140 foot-pounds in a crisscross manner. Torqued. If you have a center cover, install that now. We'll get this in place. We're using our 22 millimeter socket to lightly bottom these out. Double check to make sure it's secured in place.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.